This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
This is not the first time. We've always had many different filmmakers of different calibers on here, and we always try to just give everyone a voice. And we got the one, the only Rey Medrano. You've been on several Texas productions, many David Lowery productions. His credits include Taylor Sheridan's 1883. And I'm just like, yeah, everyone's seen a lot of your work. Lake George.
They have. You know what's
The Chosen.
The Chosen, 1883, 23, Yellowstone, Landman, Lioness.
LBJ, The Leftovers.
Listen, it's kind of weird. It's weird. It's weird to think about. I was talking to my partner the other day because, when Landman was premiering, their season 2 just premiered not too many months ago. And we were in, West Hollywood, and like my partner was like, "Hey, that's your billboard." And because like when we as makeup artists, typically like when we work on shows and they do press and EPK, it's called, the electronic press kit.
Yes.
We're also with our actors, we get them in a character, or if the production companies want, or the studios want them to be normal, right? We normally groom them, get them camera ready. And but I've just been working at such a pace that I don't really take a minute to stop and acknowledge that it's that well reviewed or that much, it's not that it's watched that much. And so anyway, he was just like, "Hey, there's your billboard." And I'm like, "My bill? Oh wait, oh yeah, I did do makeup on that." And it's crazy. It's wild that so many people around the world have seen what I do. And yet I'm just like that small little Texas boy, deep down inside, I'm from, North Texas. So.
All right. Nice. And has it ever been a little frustrating though sometimes? Because like you'll always have credits, you'll always have, great people recommending you is like, "Hey, here's a guy for last minute. Here's our hairstylist. Get him on, first thing." But is it sometimes frustrating when it's like, okay, someone went over and redid this? Sometimes you're going to share the credit, but other times it's like, I was just additional. So therefore, because they only credit like 1 to 2 people, I don't always get the on-screen credit.
Yes and no. I feel like when you're a day player, right, or like you're additional or something like that, you already kind of go into you know that you're just there like as a backup. And
Yes.
So you're not the department head, you're not the key, you're not the effects artist, you're just
You're
there
not the main
for daily.
one. You're one of the 5 additional ones. Yeah.
And that's totally cool because that's what we know what we're going into. I think the weirdness that I've seen is that there are some people that like to fluff their resume, and I'm not going to say you shouldn't.
Right.
There are people that will they'll work one day on a show and then post the hell out of the trailer or whatever on Instagram or Facebook. Like they were there for the whole time. I feel like that's a little bit disrespectful to the core team. It's like,
because you're trying to 1,000% with you. I'm a 5,000% because it's one thing to fluff. It's another thing to complete bogus, and like, I'm with you. I was on a Colleen film shoot, Long Road Home was an Iraq war invasion.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was there and I was seeing all these extras, huge egos, and they were saying stunts. I'm like, you did not do stunts. You drove around in a Humvee. You did not get blown up. Don't do bullshit like that. But
And that's the
Yeah.
etiquette, that's the
Yeah.
etiquette that kind of comes with what we do. I just
Hmm.
and that's why I say I get it. I get it. You know what? You're thirsty, you're hungry, you're an artist, you want the credits, you want to be validated, you want someone to see you and say, I want to hire you because you've done this. The truth is, though, is that a lot of situations I've seen is when these people have fluffed their credits, um, and then they get hired, they're suddenly incapable of doing the job they were hired for.
Hmm.
And there's a big difference in the makeup department. I will say there's a huge difference between hair and makeup. Is when if we ask you, can you do a wig? Can you do a wig wrap? Do you know how to lay a beard by hand? Do you know how to glue down lace? Do you know how to clean lace? Do you know how to, like, all of these things? And you would be shocked at how many people would jump at it to say yes, have the opportunity, and they don't really have the
Mm.
experience that we need. And then we're stuck in the awkward position of like, oh shit, like, how do I how do I let you go? And fortunately, I feel like I'm a little bit different than a lot of the department heads I've worked under, that I can sense it and I'm like, here's what I think you should do. And I can just educate them right away so that they can fix what the problem is and not stick out like a sore thumb.
Right.
Not everybody in my position has that grace, but it's very cutthroat out there. And yeah, I mean, going back to like fluffing your credits, I get the eagerness, I get why you want to do it, but really just stay focused on the now and like appreciate the
Yes.
experience. There's no shame in being a day player. Like I get
Hmm.
called all the time. I used to key on the Chosen, and now they're calling me. They called me to like day play the other day, and it's season 7. I was there from the beginning. I wasn't offended that they called me. I was flattered. I'm like, good. We still have a good rapport. I'm happy to show up and
You
just
remembered me. I
totally. I
must
mean,
have done a
it's
good job,
yeah. There's no shame in day playing. There's no shame in background. There's no shame there.
Alan, um, have you done any productions outside of the Austin and Dallas area where you're like, oh, I've been dying to go back there and do a few other productions there? Yeah, it was a fun
you
vacation.
know, I mean, working in California is always a treat. It's got great weather, man. The weather is,
Yeah.
you're not dealing with, and I will say, as a Texas native and also living out in LA and then back and forth and stuff, like you have just there's a reason why Hollywood and California became like the epicenter for filming because you can cheat almost every bit of that state for anywhere in the world, and you don't
Yes.
and you don't have the storm outside of Oklahoma, right? You don't have the
Hmm.
storms and the tornadoes to rip everything away and cancel a day of filming. Um, so I mean, filming in California is always a treat. I've filmed in Mexico, South America. I have yet to film across the pond. I almost got a gig in the UK for an Amazon film as a personal makeup artist to an actor, and
Nice.
it didn't work out, but I was really looking forward to it. And the funny thing is, a lot of my friends and my peers, like I have friends and peers that work in New Zealand a lot, like they do a lot of the Godzilla, King Kong stuff that films out there, or the um with the big feet, the Hobbit stuff,
Oh, sweet.
Lord of the Rings. Sorry, oh, I'm gonna catch so much shit.
Okay.
And they're really great
Tolkien.
at what they do, and they get to travel all over the place. And I have a little bit of FOMO. I'm like, man, I want to go work in New Zealand, but then they're also kind of telling me like the tricks and the ins and the outs, and they can't be too far away from the IATA Union for too long, which is primarily in North America.
Right.
So I mean, there's like yeah, because then they're losing their insurance days. It's a whole thing. So you
Right.
want to keep in good standing with the union. You want to get your insurance days, and so yeah, it's a real big balance. And unfortunately, a lot of productions right now have been doing things for really cheap across the pond, overseas.
Well, like you were
In
saying before, stay in your lane, but also don't,
Yeah,
find ways to go outside the bubble once in a while. But yeah, not for too long.
yeah. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, for that aspect of it, I would love to be working in Europe. I would love to be working in Italy. The best facial hair layers for beards are in Italy, like hands down.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so to have those experiences would be wonderful. But I also really like my IATSE insurance. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was fortunate enough to work on Broken, this unsold TV pilot, which you also worked on. Why do you
I
think
did, yeah, yeah.
it was pretty much LA Law for Women? And I was just like, why did that not take off? Like, I was
Yeah,
just
there
like,
was Broken and False Prophets with Vanessa Williams.
yes.
Um, Coincidentally, on Broken, I was just day playing on that, going in to help it
It
out
was
with
produced by
background.
Reese Witherspoon. So I was like, does what?
It was, and Anna Paquin, she was
Yeah.
so lovely. And I remember like my first day on set. Again, I'm just background. I'm invisible when I do day playing in background. Like I don't, whatever. And I ended up in this weird confined space with Anna Paquin. And at the time, like I loved True Blood. I'm a huge X-Men fan. My partner is a big comic book guy out
Hey,
in North Hollywood. So
you got to be on The
we're
Gifted, X-Men
we got
spinoffs.
I get to day play on that too. It was great. And Anna Paquin showed up on that too because her husband,
Yep,
oh
Stephen
God,
Moyer. Yep.
Stephen Moyer was on that. And so Stephen was also showing up in the pilot of um The Broken. And it's so funny, like the crosshairs, right? And all the weird while you're watching them have those intimate scenes on True Blood, and you're like, oh, this is cringy, but they're actors and they're performers, but like
Right.
they're they're a
They don't
couple in
go
real life.
online, but they know what's out there. It's like, yeah, hey,
Yeah.
if
And
I
then
got
you see the
fans lusting
kids.
after me, I guess I've done my job. Hey.
Exactly. But I remember the first time I met Anna Paquin, she like her makeup artist she had a personal and she was touching her up and she caught I was wearing like a sriracha shirt, like those that you get at Spencer's or Hot Topic or whatever at the
Yes.
time. And yeah, she like looked at it and she's like, I like your shirt. And I was like, thanks. I was feeling a little spicy today. And then I caught myself and I was like, oh shit, we're not supposed to talk to number one.
Right.
We're not supposed to talk to like one, two, or three.
I'm
And
glad you mentioned that. Do you think anyone could have like a reminder, like PAs or first ADs could go out and remind people, hey, just because you're in a non-union state or a production where everyone's okay with it doesn't mean you should go out your way to do it most often. Because I would see that where people would go up and try and offer amateur productions to all these A-listers. Is like, guys,
oh
that's not going
my
to
God.
happen without
Oh
their
my God.
agents.
Or read my script or listen to my demo
Let's
or follow me on
start.
Instagram.
Yeah, let's start hustling. And it's like, you should
Yeah.
be planning your next move, not their next move.
It's pretty cringy. And you'd be shocked at how many, I mean, Billy Bob Thornton on Landman is like one of the kindest, most
Yeah,
personable people you will ever meet.
he
And
grew up with this bad boy attitude, but somewhere along the way, I think like '07, he was like, okay, I'm not going to do the bad boy act anymore. It's going to be more
totally, I
paparazzi.
mean, he's
People
so
evolve.
kind. I mean, it's just like, and genuine and authentic. And like,
Yeah,
he, he's the one that would rather talk to like the everyday person. Like
that's great.
he wants to talk to the PAs. He's not really interested in the suits, he's like, and, so it's really cool when you see that because then you realize, well, you might be told, don't look so and so in the eye. And
Right.
then it's like, it's coming from an AD, or it's coming from
They're just
their
speaking from
publicist.
experience. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like at the end of the day, though, I think the professionalism aspect is like, don't distract that person from doing their
Right.
job.
Right.
Like
I had
just
a stuck-up community college teacher one time who was like, I was an assistant to Morgan Freeman. He was very cranky, and I was like, well, knowing you, you probably did something you weren't supposed to. And he was like, please get me my coffee and stop, hanging. It's like
totally.
if you're doing one of the no nos, then what do you expect? I'm gonna
Yeah.
be grumpy because I've told 500 people, and yet it still happened. I'd be kind of angry too.
That's a good, that's a good way to look at it because at the end of the day, even the assistants are just there to make the best environment they can for the actor.
Bingo.
Even if the actor has had a bad day, God forbid, even if they're hungover, like,
Hmm.
that's all of our jobs really. And it's not even to say you'll have so many actors that are like, don't treat me like that. I'm not
Right.
a star. I'm not better than you. I mean, we're talking about A-listers
That's
who will come
good.
in and they're like,
Don't treat me like Jesus. Don't.
totally. But at the same time, I mean, especially for me as a makeup artist, they need to feel like they're being watched and seen,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily because they're being watched and seen, because they want to feel trusted that I'm doing
Yes.
my job,
Bingo.
because their job is not to keep up with continuity. Their job
Mm-hmm.
is not to keep up with, oh, this scratch was a little bit more on the side yesterday, like, or, you know, maybe this is not look like, it's not their job. And so it's a grace if they give you that feedback and they're like, hey, this looks a little off.
Totally.
A lot of artists would get very, especially the egotistical ones, oh, I know better, I'm, whatever, and I've got the content. You'll see the egos, but at the end of the day, they're really helping you. And
Yeah.
even if they're not helping you, maybe you could help them feel more comfortable. If they feel like that's it, maybe there's a like a halfway between where you guys can meet. And I feel like that's really like at the first of the morning at 4, 5, 3, sometimes in the morning, we're the first people they encounter, and we set the tone for the entire day. And
Bingo.
it's a big
You're
responsibility, but
not gonna want to get to the end of the tunnel if the first thing you said is, "Oh, this is not going well." Oh, gee, I guess it's not
yeah,
going well.
totally. So I think the key for any artist or artisan working with talent or actors is, and directors and producers, is just to listen.
Yes,
And then after you listen, be able to discern what you can help and what you can't, you know?
bingo, man. I that is that's poetry, man. That's because it is maddening when you just see so many who want to get into divisive chats. Is like this isn't even divisive. This is just a simple. We keep stressing this because it works. It's been shown to work. It's
Yeah,
what you would like in any other job. If you're dealing with a cynical boss, if you're dealing with a micromanager, guess what? You're going to be putting in your 2 week notice once you've had it instead of,
absolutely.
I'm looking forward to this. I am valued. I am contributing something I am proud to contribute, and
Totally. And something that I've taken in my career in my head has always been to take a mentality, or my mantra is, how can I help?
yes. Oh, man.
It's that simple. And I feel like if I were a department head, a department head talking down or communicating with, uh, I don't want to say subordinates, but my team, lesser than me or
The
lesser in title, but
supports.
because I also don't
Yeah.
feel I don't feel that, like, I've got to say, like, I've been blessed to work with a lot of department heads that treat me on the same par that a department head would be treated.
Right.
Um,
They haven't talked
but
down to you or done anything out of their field. Yeah.
yeah, but I would say that, like, even as a top person, and somebody below me was struggling, I would say, how can I help? I wouldn't
Lovely.
judge. I wouldn't be like, control yourself, reel it in, you're spiraling. I wouldn't do that. I would say, how can I help? And I think it's such a healthy mantra to have with in any position you're working on in production.
Bingo. Yeah, that's a good point. Do you feel like even makeup's getting better notice at the award shows like Golden Globes or Emmys, or is there still a little traction that needs to be done there
I
of
feel
acknowledging
like,
parts?
well, we've got the red carpet side, and then we've got like the award side.
Yeah, the actual shows that someone's put in a sizzle reel for consideration and
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Right before I jumped on this call, before this podcast interview, I had to fill out my 4-year consideration for Primetime Emmys,
Ah,
and I had to submit as a key makeup artist for this last season on Landman. Um, that can get tricky sometimes
yes,
because, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to make these characters look real, but
right.
also look good. So
Hmm.
there's like this fine line between, they look real, like maybe as like a real life person, they did their own makeup, right? Because they would, like,
Yep.
particularly women, right? I have this character, amazing. I love my two females on Landman. Kayla Wallace, who plays Rebecca Falcone, like a power attorney, HBIC, right? She's a hard ass. And then I
Yes.
have Ariana, played by Paulina Chavez, and she's equally a badass, but she's younger and she's a single mother now, and she's a widow, and she's falling in love with Billy Bob Thornton's son, and there's like this whole thing going on there. Um, their character makeups are so unique and unique and different to the character because like on the one end I have Rebecca, character of Rebecca, who is rich. She's
Yes.
wealthy. She's smart. She like, have you seen Landman? Have you seen
I
her
have.
monologues or dialogues in that? Like
She's
insane.
into it. I don't feel
She's
anything forced.
I
She's
like, and
saying,
she's Canadian too, right? And she's so sweet.
yeah.
Like we'll text each other. We were texting each other the other day because our favorite character lipstick for Rebecca just came back into production because it got like reformulated, and so it was off the market for a while, and we were stressing like, what are
Mm.
we gonna do for season 3? Um, but yeah, no, it's like so curated to her that her makeup looks like Rebecca would do that makeup. But Rebecca's also not, she's all brains.
Hmm.
And she's like, I want to look pretty enough. Like, so it would be like a 5-minute makeup routine that this woman would wake up, she'd go work out, she'd shower, she's probably tanning, getting natural sun from just being out all the time. And then she would like do like a 5-minute makeup and get out. Like she's always on the
Yes.
go. But then you have Ariana, played by Paulina Chavez, who does want to gussy up a little bit. She's going to go bartend at the Patch Cafe. She's going to want to make her tip. She's going to want to look cute, right? So she's going to do
Hmm.
a little bit more of like the bigger eye makeup. She's going to be maybe doing a little contouring
A little more
and
ambitious. Yeah.
totally. And so really what it boils down to is it's nice if like, the Emmys and different award systems recognize that we as makeup designers are putting in all of this thought to the character because what I
Yes.
cannot stand, and I'm not going to shade Hallmark, I'm not going to shade Lifetime, right? But like when you're watching characters wake up in full makeup, right, with lashes and like the whole thing, and it's morning time
Yeah.
and they just woke up, like it's not believable, it's not real.
Hmm.
So it's nice to see it being recognized more, and it's nice when you also have the actors that are willing to be vulnerable and say, yes, I just woke up. My makeup might be a little smudged. Maybe we got down and dirty the night before, so maybe like, my character didn't wash her makeup off, but it still warned it. All of these different character details are so important. And I love it when, award systems kind of acknowledge that. And I do feel like we're getting a lot of recognition, especially effects, man. Effects is getting such rave like a spotlight right now. And again, it's
Yep.
like subtle effects. And I don't know if you've watched The Ugly Stepsister. Have you seen that movie?
I have not. Ugly steps.
Okay, are you a Disney Prime guy or or not Disney Prime,
My
Disney
sister has it.
Plus?
So yeah, I can look it up.
Call
September.
sis, text sis, be like, hey, what's your password? If you care, if you're into like subtle effects type makeup, and again, mind you, like The Substance, I love The Substance, and I got to work with
That was a
Denise
good
too,
movie.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
We've had great conversations in the makeup trailer. My department head, Greg Moon, does an amazing job on her makeup, but like sometimes when she's in his chair, she'll chit chat with me, and um, yeah, she's told me some really cool stories about The Substance. But I digress. The Ugly Stepsister is
It's on Hulu.
such
So
such a. Is it on Hulu too?
yep.
Oh yeah, well Hulu Prime or oh god,
Yep. I'm a
Hulu
Hulu guy.
Disney.
Yep. It's
Yeah,
good. Yep.
check it out. You got to do it. There's
Promise. Yeah.
one scene, and I want to get a message from you when you watch it. There's one scene where this really cringe, grotesque makeup happens, but it's subtle because there's like a stitching motion involved. And
Mm,
I would love to know what you think of it when you watch it.
I will do so. And so I'm gonna take you up on that. Yep. And but yeah, I mean, I think that's the other annoying thing is having to tell people, hey, sometimes the most smallest thing on screen can take 3 days. Just if we want to prep and however much
Yeah.
effort we're gonna put into it, and
Yeah.
by the time someone said, let's do it, we've already decided. So we gotta do our thing instead of complain, oh, it's not that great. It's like,
We
well,
are, but I'll also give you this insight. if I had a dime for every time I had to assemble a special effect makeup, meaning customize molding, sculpting,
Yes.
uh, having it ordered, manufactured, getting 5 or 6 versions of them because we don't know how many takes we're going to have to do.
Yeah.
All of that just for a director to be like, oh, just throw some blood on it.
Oh, for God's
Or
sakes.
we'll keep waiting all day to do the insert special, the close up. And then by the end of the day, we're so out of time that they're like, "Oh, just fuck it, like scrap the close up." And this
Uh,
prosthetic is like sitting on them all day, and you're just like, "Oh," like, but, that's what we get paid to do. But it is very frustrating as an artist sometimes, where we put so much work, and especially with makeup, it always looks freshest at the beginning. So we're like, "Can we get the special at the beginning?" And then when the AD department and director just like push, 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 push. At the end of the day, we usually get cut or it's just throw blood on it and call it a day. And that is a downside for us as artisans, but
yeah.
it's the nature of the beast.
Well, that's the other problem too. Is like, how badly did someone want to do it? And then, of course, you got them these different powers. Some of them are smart, some of
Hmm.
them are questionable. And it's like, well, I can't argue. They're the guy in charge, but I would
Yeah,
like that to not put any effort into it if we're not going to use it. But
totally. And I'll tell you, recently, uh, an Academy Award winning effects house, um, was commissioned to do some stuff, and then even that didn't make the cut. And
wow,
I know, and I was like, oh, that was expensive. I mean, we're talking $30,000 to $60,000 worth of work that never saw the light of day because it ended up on the cutting room floor.
yeah,
And it's like, oh, but that's where
grueling.
you got to like temper the ego a little bit. At least we got paid for it.
I wouldn't say it's ego though. I mean, unless someone is like, "Oh, no one's going to get to see my creation." It's more as like, I put all
That
this
too.
work, and you'll never see it unless I release a scrapbook of behind the
Yeah.
scenes
Yeah.
editorial.
That's when you get to just really nurse on that paycheck.
Yeah. Hey, it is what it is. But
It is what it is.
you've been fortunate enough, going back to how you've been in charge of a department. You were on the Dolph Lundgren alien comedy Welcome to Willits, which was liked by
Oh
genre
God.
fans, and you've been in John Hyams' Sick, which was a big COVID set horror film, and you've even been in. You've flirted with reality TV with The Real Housewives of
Oh my
Dallas,
God, the
and
housewives, yeah.
Cruel Summers is still available to stream when ABC Family was getting into psychological mysteries for teens.
I heard a rumor that Jessica Biel's bringing back that original cast of Cruel Summer, um,
I
with her
mean,
production company at E1. I'm pretty sure I heard that some of those actors are going to come back as an older version of themselves in a
I,
different generation.
it's kind of was
That'd be cool.
weird. It was like a mixture between some of those other, uh, I guess for lack of a better word, How to Get Away with Murder and even Pretty Little Liars. Just people like those kind of just unusual stuff hitting the fan and mysteries out upon mystery. And so you
Yeah.
get just as many people who are legit addicted to it as you do guys who are like, oh, this is trash, but I can't stop watching. So it's just you never really know your audience, and it still takes a while to filter it out whether people like it for the right reasons or not. And
Yeah. Well, and I was kind of like, when I read the script, especially as the key makeup artist, and that was interesting enough because that happened right after we came out of lockdown and COVID.
yes,
So it was us and like Yellowstone season 4, and we had the strictest back to work, policies happening
oh,
where
for
like
God's
we had to wear
sakes,
the full like blue paper gown and the
yeah.
binoculars and the mask and whatever. And when I got onto that, I was just trying to wrap my head around because it was like 3 different timelines, like in the 90s.
yeah,
And then And then me and my department head, we worked in separate trailers. So the department heads were in one trailer and the keys were in another trailer, specifically because if any of us got COVID, we needed to be able to take over for one another. And it was so tight that, but they had us separated. And so we're trying to tell this story. We're trying to do designs with makeup. All of our correspondence is through text and then like 6 feet apart on set. I mean, it was a really strange situation to work in.
I bet.
So, but between the whole physicality of filming that show and then watching it play out online, or I'm sorry, on TV, was really nice because there was just a discombobulating feeling that what we were making wasn't going to make sense on the show, because literally everything was spread out between years in the storyline and departments and like 6 feet apart. It was crazy. So I'm glad that it was a hit with a lot of people. People seem to really like it.
Well, I'm sure, like you say, I mean, first ADs, I've heard the great Mick Garris, best known for a lot of his Stephen King adaptations. He joked on his now defunct podcast. First AD shouldn't be called first assistant director. They should be called first executive producer, because they're the guys who,
Yeah.
remove a director if they're behind on schedule. They're the ones
Mhm.
who report the studios, hey, actors coming in late, we're out of time to, film their shots. What do we do besides scrap and call it a loss?
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, like you say, though, yeah, it's like when you're told get back to work while threatening your health, and then not sure if the continuity is still working the way it's supposed to. I mean, that had to
Yeah.
still be stressful. And then at the same time say, hey, boss ordered, I'm just gonna wing it at this rate.
Yeah. Oh my God. Even the makeup too, because when the actors would wear, having like a triggering memory.
It is kind of traumatic, kind of, yeah.
It was so traumatic because then like all of a sudden the actors are wearing masks, right? And if they have lipstick, you're trying to find out every way. Yes, there's waterproof, smudge proof, like formulas out there, but only to an extent. When you have like the steamy nose breath going into the mask, it's
Yes.
like it's always gonna, or people's human oils, like their skin oils,
Yeah.
it's always gonna break down makeup no matter what. And so you
If
would
you
have
sweat
like
while
you
I'm putting
sweat,
this
and you're like
on, I got to
all
do
of
it
a
all
sudden
over again.
smearing. You take their mask off and they're ready to go, and you're like, whoa, whoa, wait, I need to touch them up because it's now like smudged. But then the AD's like, what the fuck are you doing? You said they were ready to go, and I'm like, no, but you
Yeah.
didn't call last looks, and it was triggering. So then that kind of changed the tones that we would use in lipsticks, the formulas we would use in lipsticks. Like it changed everything because we could no longer do our job, because now we all of a sudden we had stuff rubbing on their face 24/7. And if that wasn't enough, if somebody was dehydrated, if people
Yeah, I got to
drink,
drink some water, but
yeah,
that
well,
messes up.
even if people are, if they drink alcohol the night before, or if they have a high sodium meal the night before,
Ooh.
they might be a little bit puffy. So when you have these
Oh,
masks on your
no.
face, they would take, even if for a few minutes, they take them off to do their scene, and there's these lines embedded in their skin, like the sleepy
No.
lines. Like, have you ever slept really hard on one side and you wake up and you
Yeah,
got
yeah,
pillow
yeah.
lines
It's
in your
all
face? Yeah,
smudgy. Yeah. And it looks
it would
like
happen
you've
the
just
same way.
been slugged, when it's like, no, it's the equivalent of uh cause inflating a wound or something,
Totally.
you've
And
been.
there I am. There we are, just like rubbing out their cheeks, trying to like massage out the lines and stuff. I mean, whew, what a
Uh,
time. I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm triggered all over again.
well, do you
Good
think
story, though.
do you think before anyone takes a makeup class, whether it's, the Rick Bakers or Stan Winstons of the world, whether it's all the other just regular makeup, if people need to be reminded, hey, just like a cinematographer, you got to also know a little math, you got to know a little science behind this, put this on causes this layer to show up this
Absolutely.
way.
Absolutely. I would say the key fundamentals to that would be chemistry.
Yes.
Know what your silicone based, water based, and alcohol based things will do to the skin. Know how the skin would react to those bases. Know the chemistry of what you're putting on and how they interact with each other.
Look at the
Uh,
ingredients, make sure it doesn't give someone an allergic reaction
1,000%, or even just react to itself. I can't tell you. There's like sometimes if you mix silicone with water-based products, they'll roll up on each other, and then
Yeah.
suddenly you're like doing makeup, and it's like rolling off like their skin's peeling
The
off, and
demon
it's
mask looks like it's just been
yeah.
torn apart.
Yeah, or like if you have a water-based something and then someone's oils start coming out of their skin and breaking it down, then you're trying to touch them up all day and it just is not working. You have to like clean it up and start all over again. So chemistry, I would say, color theory is a
Oh
thousand
man.
percent, and it's also changing a little bit now because a lot of the lights are no longer what we used to use. We had the tungsten lights and like the Kinos and Kino flows and all of those hard lights, and I've been doing this for over 20 something years. So
Yeah.
I saw the end of film into digital, and now I've seen the end of those lights into like the LED lights, and it changes so much. And so I feel like you need to have a good grip on color theory, especially because a lot of these tones of lights, especially if they don't have the registered meter of like red frequency lights coming in, then you'll start to see people's makeup start to go more yellow,
Right.
or in some cases orange a little bit, and you're looking at your product and then it'll oxidize, and that also goes into chemistry. So I say lighting, chemistry, color theory 101, so that if you're doing, or if your director is going to say, this is these are the tones that we're going to use, this is um the colors and the tones, and like this is the treatment it's going to get. And if you're doing, and trailers too, I mean, our makeup trailer back in the day, in our makeup trailers, we would have people from the lighting department come and balance our light with gels, and they would put gels all over the place so that the light that we were seeing was going to be the end product of the filter treatment that the film was going to get. And
That's a
now
good point.
everything is just like cool bright light, everything is cool natural daylight. And then we get, I'll take for Landman, for instance, the treatment that they give Landman is very warm. It's very golden. It's very yellow. And so, like, we have to use warmer yellow lights in the trailer so that we know that the makeup we're doing, especially with bruising effects and blood, is going to read the right way in camera. And then sometimes in camera, like the LUTs aren't quite applied yet. So when we're looking at the monitor, it's a little jarring and you're just like, ah, you know. But in the end, your DP knows what he's doing, lighting knows what they're doing, and then we all come together because we're on the same page. So yeah, I mean, chemistry, color theory, lighting, all of that is very, very pertinent to the
Yeah.
job for sure.
I hope they continue to give you a big enough trailer because yeah, it's like it's not just I need somewhere place to think privately. It's like I need somewhere to put all my supplies, keep batteries
Totally.
charging, hair
Well, and
dryer.
everybody always thinks though, like the hair and makeup trailer is like the beauty parlor.
Oh
And I'm
my
like,
word.
no, like it's
And then
probably
they
one of the most
complain.
stressful. Yeah.
Yeah, then they complain, why does they look awful when it's time to light them? I'm like, didn't give me any time to make them look
That
good.
part, or when you have actors, coming in late for whatever reason, if they had a
Yeah.
late fitting, if they were, if costumes took too long, if hair took too long, or whatever the department is, and then all of a sudden it's like you've got 5 minutes to do their makeup to get them on set. It's a lot of stress.
Yeah,
And then
5 minutes.
if they're like late to getting on set, then they're always down on, for some reason, they always think the fluff and puffs, like hair and makeup. They're
For
just chit
God's
chatting
sakes.
and I'm like, no, if you knew the stress, like we time ourselves, like as you said earlier, ADs count every minute.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we count every minute. We document every minute that an actor gets into our chair and when they leave. We have to, because that
Totally.
is the day, that's the day. So
That's the other annoying thing too, is then without fail, when some of the Chinese lanterns have gone out or just a camera malfunction because the AC, it's always annoying when there is a backup, but people instantly, kind of like when someone told an inappropriate joke and got pulled away by the principal, everyone likes to instantly assume, oh shit, something's going down.
yeah.
It's like, just, you're not looking forward to
Hmm.
this. Let's not, it
Yeah.
could just be some other deal. The actor just forgot the line. They know everything, but just for whatever reason, they're so in character, just like, please, line.
Yeah,
The director just came
totally.
over and just needed to just pat him on the shoulder respectfully.
Absolutely.
We'll return after these messages.
Back here. We got a 90-minute weekly Shack Stop. It's growing all over the world. Find it at 2 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Mondays, then 3 p.m. on Wednesdays, then 7 p.m. on Thursdays. You can catch it on many more radio stations, 99.9 KERB, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern on Mondays. Then catch the encore on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Then catch it Wednesday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Central on 107.7 K-Twins. Then hang out with us Wednesday afternoons on MXTR and House Shack Radio, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Then Thursday, get up bright and early with us on 95.7 Web Radio at 6 a.m. Pacific Time, 9 a.m. Eastern. Of course, we've got your Friday covered as well. 12 p.m. Eastern Time on MXTR FM and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central, 107.7 K-Twins. Find everything on HouseShack.com. HouseShack.
If you like small-town mystery, crazy news, and wild history, then the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast is for you. Each week, Josh Mills and Wayne McCarty bring you the absolute best Florida has to offer. So if you're looking for a show that's safe for the family, but funny enough to help you escape everyday life, then listen to the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast. That's Florida Men, plural, on Florida Man podcast.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
I got to ask you about what it was like working on the sequel to Laser Team, because that was a big YouTube Red event, and Colton Dunn's star has got even further, on Superstore and
Yeah, it was in Superstore. And Nicole Sakura,
Blockers.
Did I pronounce her name right? Sakura?
Yeah, I
Nicole
think
Sakura?
I think it is.
She was on Superstore too at the time.
Yes.
And it was really cool. Like they were just so. I have a funny Nicole story.
Did you have problems like putting their makeup on because they're making you laugh?
Yeah, like we had a lot of fun on that show, and on that one, I think I was doing hair. But I mean, everybody was just wonderful, and we had a really good time. And I have a really funny Nicole story if you want to hear it, or if we have time. But I also have a funny like alien poop story about that one, because there was like a whole alien poop scene with that. And
Yes.
I mean, the effects department had like these vats and vats of alien shit. Sorry, I don't know if I can say that. Alien poop. You can bleep me.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm not.
And it was like all made out of like this edible grade gelatin. It was really good.
Right.
And
Food you would actually want to eat, but we got to make it look disgusting on screen.
Totally.
It's got the silky.
And they had like vats and vats of it. I remember that weekend we finished that scene, and then we had leftovers, and I was like, can I take the alien?
Alien crap.
Like, I'm gonna have some friends over. I want to kind of entertain them with the alien poop. It tastes delicious, and they were like, "Yeah, take it." But no, Nicole,
eat shit and die.
Yeah, eat shit and die, and get killed by a giant snail. Like there was a killer snail on that.
Yeah,
Remember, a slug.
There's all kinds of monsters in it. It's making fun of all those space operas. And, yeah,
it was so funny. Nicole, who was also on Superstore at the time, she and I had gone out with some of the cast and crew. And do you know Ty Sheridan? Are you familiar with the actor Ty Sheridan? So I
Not to be confused with Taylor. Yeah.
I know.
I like Ty. He's pretty cool.
I knew Ty, and it's funny. I have like a bunch of like these, like Jacob Laughlin, I think, did Mud with Ty. I believe I
Yes.
could be wrong.
I think you're right. And
I have
mean,
some like weird like connections to Ty Sheridan, but so Nicole and I and a couple of cast and crew were out in Austin, like up and down 6th Street or whatever, and we were a little tanked. I guess she was friends with Ty. They had been friends before, and so I had stepped away to get us some more drinks, and I come back and I see Nicole sitting. And mind you, that evening, a bunch of people recognized her. So everywhere we were going, people kept like flocking to her. And
Superstore
sometimes,
is still big on streaming. So yeah.
yeah, and like cast and crew, we kind of get protective of each other, especially the cast when we
Right.
feel like they're being hounded a little bit.
You
So
read a
I get
room and you see stuff that you don't want to see, and you're like, "Can we please have a private room?" So like, can you give us the
yeah,
birthday room where it's taped down and no one can see we're in here?
totally. And I get a little Papa Bear with stuff, especially with actresses, and
That's
especially
cool
if
that you.
like drinking is involved. Like I just
Yeah.
always want to keep an eye out. And so I saw this guy just like hanging around her, and I went up to her and I was like, "Hey, girl, are you okay? Whatever." And I sat and I was chilling with her, and I started getting like kind of, I guess I started grilling him, and I was just like, "How do you know her? What do you do?" And he was trying to tell me that, and mind you, this was Ty Sheridan. He was telling me that he worked on the art department of another movie that was filming in Austin. Like he was just like giving me all this bullshit and being funny about it. He was like, so, but then he was also kind of like, I think once he realized that I was trying to be a little protective of Nicole, he started just being a little like started pushing the buttons with, being
Mm.
flirtatious and big. Anyway, the whole thing was like really funny. And I was like, "Girl, if we need to go, let's go, like whatever." And she's like, "You know who that is, right?" I
No,
said,
I don't.
"He's the art guy that you worked with on your friend." And she's like, "No, is that what he told you? That's Ty Sheridan. He's an actor." And I was like, "Oh my God."
He's
And I think at the
acting
time
too well.
he was acting too well. And I think at the time he was doing X-Men or something, or just wrapped X-Men. And
I didn't know.
I loved it because I was
I
such a
didn't.
huge X-Men fan that afterwards I was like, "Oh my God, Ty Sheridan totally like punked me." He
Oh,
totally,
he was in Apocalypse. Oh, okay, wow. I totally
yeah,
spaced on
he
that.
was in like is it First Class and all of
So the younger ones. Okay,
the
yeah.
younger ones, yeah.
I've seen those, but I know him from Mud and The Order and all these other.
Yeah. I mean, it was really funny because I feel like they were playing with me, but it was hysterical. Afterwards, I felt like such a dumbass. And but also I was like, "Oh my God, Ty
April
Sheridan."
Fools came early.
I
Yeah.
know. And I'm like, I love his work. He's a great guy.
So this keeps coming back to superheroes in some capacity. So what is your superpower if you are a mutant?
Ooh, oh God.
You can
Mm,
make it all spooky if you want to go all Pinhead or Jason Voorhees on me. I don't care.
oh God. What's your favorite horror movie, by the way?
Oh gosh. Some ask me one day it's Candyman. Ask me the next day it's probably shoot Gremlins or something
God,
campy. I
I love a good
Wishmaster.
Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger, he was
Yes.
just it all the time.
There you
And
go.
Scream, I'm a diehard Scream fan. So when I got to work for Kevin Williamson on Sick and department head and design that, it was like a dream come true. And I remember specifically with that one, I had done like a split neck, and me and a local Utah artist, Kelly, she was an FX artist. We worked together and we did this amazing split neck. And I remember being nervous about it because the executive producer was like, Kevin is really particular about effects, specifically split necks. And when he saw the dailies, the executive producer came and he was like, "Kevin loved your split neck," and I was a split neck, and I was like, "Yay!"
Validation. I wish you could
I
tell me
was like,
that, but you're his
full
assistant.
circle.
So yeah, hey.
Yeah. No, yeah, full circle career moment. Kevin approved my split neck.
Kevin approved.
Um, but yeah, no, I'm sorry. Wait, what did you just ask me?
Oh, well, just
I
like
went on
what
my
your
tangent.
suit. No, it's fine.
Oh,
I'm
superhero power.
yeah, yeah.
I think I would love to move things with my mind. Like if I could just sit on a lounge on a couch and like move the makeup brush on your face and like create perfection. That would be fun. Um, I think that'd be pretty cool. What would your superpower be?
I don't want to read minds. That'd be creepy, but
Yeah, that'd be creepy.
I guess to disable weapons.
Oh.
There you go. So how do we do world peace if we're gonna
Is that
go
a
to battle?
gray? Is that a Palladian thing? Is that a Anunnaki?
I'm kind of a good version of Magneto, if you think about it. It's like I'm just gonna, flick my hand and your gun's just been pulverized. It can't fire. So
Yeah, you could do
you're gonna
that
have, if you
too.
want to fight, you're gonna have to get off your ass and start putting your dukes up if you want to actually start a fight. And if you're chicken shit hiding behind a weapon, I guarantee you, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna the
Wait, but
cowards are gonna go.
are you following any of the stuff that's happening with Congress with like the aliens and stuff, or what are they called? Like not UFOs, they're called like they have a different name for them, but these unidentified flying things that have been deactivating nuclear sites, nuclear
Oh,
weapon
the
sites.
anomalous phenomenon. No, I haven't really been following that too much. I've been distracted by so many other things, but
I
yes.
gotta say, it's pretty fascinating. Like I watched some guy testify the other day because they were having a hearing, in DC about this, and it's kind of fascinating that like these unidentified things are flying around over nuclear, you know, sites and deactivating missiles um, as they're trying to launch them. Or
And
even one, I think one instance had been launched and something unidentified flew up to it, shot some beam into it, it deactivated, and then it like fell to the ground.
it's kind
Um,
of like the 77,000 pages of JFK documents, and yet you still got 99% of the other stuff,
yeah,
hidden. But yeah, there's still, like you say, we're getting closer to answers, but then it just makes you wonder is like who is cock blocking, who is gatekeeping, and you can say that about any job. Who is the higher up making it impossible for other people to do their jobs? It's just
yeah,
like,
totally.
because regardless of who's in control, you got all these other guys who like don't want you to know how the sausage is made, and it's like, well, everyone's exhausted. They want some kind of truth.
Dude, I tell you, and not to get political, but just being an American in this day and age, every day you're learning something that we're being lied about or lied to about. And it's
Yes.
just like, oh, I feel it's almost like take me back to when Santa Claus was real in my mind and I was a kid, or
Yeah.
to an extent, it's just like everything is way more, you just feel really dumb and naive for just taking what you're being fed. And
It's very
mm,
anxiety causing, but like you say, is
yeah,
like there's got to be other healthier. Well, that we're kind of at this point with food. There are so many healthier options, but then if you go down the wrong path, you'll find five other sites that are all meant to just basically stress you out. Oh, you could try this, but there's that. I'm like,
yeah,
wrong site. Let's go to a different site that is reliable, and I'll get some opinions and
yeah.
figure out how I want to live my world and eat something that's gonna give me less problems. But yeah, it's
Yeah, and I think as long as people are still making that executive decision for themselves, as long as
you
people
have
are
to.
still thinking, yeah, you're like, I'm not going to be fed this. Let me go do my own research, or let me. I think as long as we're still thinking that way, there's hope for us. I think it's where you're like, and oh, my family. But anyway, I have
Have
family
you?
members that are just like, oh, well, I'm going to die anyway, so I might as well, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh,
That's
but
not what we're
quality of
saying
life.
either. Yeah, it's like there's got to be that middle ground.
Totally.
And given how you've worked on other movies, have you ever had to even give a disclaimer? It's like, yeah, I worked on a project of faith. I don't do just faith movies. Yes, I've done
Uh-huh.
political dramas. Like I've done both.
Mm-hmm.
I've done both. LBJ and Reagan. That doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
anything to do with me. you know.
Yeah, I have. Specifically with the movie that I did by, is it Dinesh D'Souza? Is
Yes,
that
Hillary's America. Yep. Yep.
Hillary's America? Oh
Yeah.
my God. I was actually told by people on that crew not to put my name on a resume, and not to put it on IMDb, not to be listed in the credits, to give a fake name. I actually have crew members, coworkers that put fake names
Oh, for God's
onto
sake.
their cast credits for that because they were worried about being attacked by the government. It was a whole thing. And then,
That's stupid.
yeah, I felt at one point I had to explain myself for that. And then again, like with The Chosen, people are like,
Right.
what are you doing working on The Chosen as an out gay man? And I'm like, well, most true Christians are very accepting of all people because that's what Christ taught them,
Yeah.
to love and forgive everyone
Well,
unconditionally.
in all fairness, I mean, it is both a big budget, theatrical looking religious movie, but yes, then you go into the argument, it's like, okay, I'm in this kind of faith movie, but it's not a judgmental pure flicks film, but it's not
Yeah.
this kind of thing. But we're getting this now with Angel Studios. You got people on all sides of the aisle appearing on stuff like that, and I'm like, well, there's some problematic movies in that, but work is work at the same time. So it's like
Isn't that funny? Yeah. Well, and I think at the end of the day, though, like, oh God, I do. Ooh, you know what? Now that you say that, you've unlocked some memories from a project, but I think that might be an off the record thing. I'm happy to talk to you
okay,
about
yeah,
off the record.
I'm not gonna say.
Um,
I'll tell you an off the record thing on a project both of us have worked on. There was a
Yeah.
project that involved gangsters that, without fail, I would encounter some assistants who were doing nothing but talking smack about the
Yeah.
actors and everything, and I'm like, well, okay, we got something that's a remake of a soap opera. I get that, a
Yeah.
telenovela, but
Yeah.
have faith in your work. But why are you guys talking smack in front of us?
Yeah.
Well, it's just like it's not a
Yeah.
good environment. And
Yeah.
I kept encountering a stunt guy who was like, "Oh, they switched directors." I'm like, "Well, that's
That's what episodics do.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
why it's so consistent." I'm like, or maybe they want the inconsistency. I don't.
Yeah.
They want to keep it
Yeah.
fresh and new. It's like, but yeah, man.
Yeah. I got a lot of crap too. And honestly, from working on Taylor Sheridan shows, specifically Yellowstone, um, I had personal friends that were like, what are you doing on that show? How do you not fear from your life? It's being run by a bunch of rednecks and
Oh, for God's
hillbillies, and
sakes.
they're homophobes and they hate Latinos, and you're a double minority because you're a gay Latino and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I've never felt unsafe really by the people that I work with on those shows. Nobody has ever been outwardly racist to me or
It's a very
uh,
mainstream show. You don't have to like it, but doesn't mean the people they're playing are awful
totally.
in real
Well,
life.
and like, and people trying to tell me, like, oh, Taylor Sheridan, he writes all this stuff, like he hates gay people. He's all about, and I'm like, honestly, I know some of Taylor's close circle of people and like his wife, and they're wonderful people from all different sides of the aisle. Like, they're not all white people, they're not all straight people, they're like all over the place. And so I mean, I look at, and mind you, like I've worked with him on set, but like I don't know him personally, but I see the circles of people that they're around, and they're like really well-rounded people. They don't scream, a conservative or progressive or one or the other. They just seem well-rounded. So people are telling me how I should or shouldn't be working for this man or his shows and what he writes, and I'm like, I don't feel that way about his person. And I definitely don't feel that way about the crews on there because I feel like we're all very accepting of each other. We're all like crew people. We're crew family.
I feel
Um,
like that goes back to many shows. Like there were many people who liked other sci-fi horror shows like Twilight Zone, X-Files, or Star Trek,
yeah,
but many were doing the whole, oh, don't get on that, you'll get typecast, or only work on Sci-Fi Channel schlock. And it's like that's not necessarily true. So I feel
yeah,
like a lot of people act like his stuff is for only a conservative market, even though it's being consumed by people on all ends of the aisles. Kind of like
totally.
West Wing and 24 were apolitical, but everyone wanted to label them for only a certain crowd. So I don't know.
Yeah. I will say too, when I jumped on to a season of Yellowstone later, towards the end, we were filming in Montana, and I started seeing these signs. And we were in the Bitterroot Valley, and like the locals there hated us so much there were protesters one weekend. We were filming in Hamilton, and they had signs like "Go back to Hollywood, baby eaters," and
Oh my god.
yeah, and like it was just so crazy because I'm sitting here thinking we're in the thick of what the Yellowstone storytelling environment is in Montana. And I was so shocked to see how the locals really did not want them there. They did not want production there. They didn't want us there. They didn't want Hollywood there. And yet those
He hasn't
shows
come
brought,
out as conservative, but his shows are kind of considered like 80s non PCs. So that's just so wild how even with different side of the aisles, they were still like, "Oh, Hollywood guy, get out of here."
uh-huh. Yeah, and then like I think in several interviews he's denounced Hollywood, but they're still like, bah, Paramount, Hollywood, baby eaters, pedophiles, get out. We're just like, what the hell? So yeah, I've definitely not really in the industry, so to speak, but I felt more prejudice and stuff of just what I've worked on from outside people in the communities. Fort Worth, currently, we're filming a lot in Fort Worth for a Lioness and Landman and the
Yes.
Madison, the spinoff of Dutton Ranch, and who knows what else. And Fort Worth has been largely accepting. They love us here. They love the money that all of the cast and crew and the
Especially,
productions are dropping. Yeah.
do you think they'll ever figure out that whole film deal? Because they kind of were doing that for a while. We don't want Hollywood here, or you'll have to pay extra taxes if you film here, blah, blah, blah.
I think it's like the new Atlanta.
All right. Oh,
I think that right now to get filming here, the tax incentives are going to be very loose and stringent on what it's going to take to get those from production. And I think that is going to get to a point where then people are going to start getting greedy, and then it's going to start getting more stringent and structured on that kind of thing. Yeah.
So then that goes back to the next question: is like, this is what I both fear for anyone getting into film. Some people like living on the edge, but how do you pat yourself on the back at night, letting yourself know, hey,
Hmm.
I work for me. I got all these different clients, but it's not always steady income.
Oh my gosh, I just had to talk to another peer of mine yesterday about this because it takes a lot of resilience to be in this industry.
You
And
gotta
in
crash on
any,
people's sofas on some houses or some tours.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, it can be a little depressing if you don't know what you're doing, or if you don't feel good about what you're doing. And I've always been very blessed to have a steady stream of work. I mean, granted, the pandemic sucked, and
Yes.
um, the strikes were very, very hard on me financially. And in Hollywood, so many of my friends out in LA were just like losing their homes, losing their cars, moving back with family in different states, and
Mm-hmm.
like
Gotta
that was
sell
really.
that
And we're talking,
property. Yeah.
yeah, we're talking about like award-winning artists. So that was really weird to see, and even to a point where it's made me a little conscious when I've been so happy to or blessed to work after that steadily. Seeing still some people that haven't worked since the strikes is devastating and
Yeah.
horrible, and seeing them like driving for DoorDash, and not that that's anything to be ashamed of. I think that's a great way to like do supplemental income, but it's just that I know that that's not what they trained to do. That wasn't their whole. So it's really an identity shift and a life crisis shift to pivot and say, this is now how I make my money, even though I'm an Academy Award winning makeup artist.
Right. Kind of
Um,
like what's his name? Uh oh, what's his name? Who was on Cosby's show? We just saw him on the pit, and we were like, oh, great,
oh,
because he was at Trader Joe's because Cosby's show isn't syndicated as much, so I gotta
yeah,
some
yeah,
extra
yeah. Was it
bucks.
this? Was it his son, or was it
Jeffrey Owens, who played
Jeffrey?
Elvin. Yeah, it's like,
Yes. And yeah, I mean, even Danny, do you remember Danny Pintaro? He was on
Danny.
Who's the Boss. I don't know how old you are, but
I'm 7 years behind you, but yeah,
okay.
yeah, I mean that was a good point. Where it's like, hey,
Yeah, I think he was doing door or Amazon. He was driving for Amazon, and it's just like, and that's the weird part. I will say that if ever you're working in a market like LA or New York or like one of the bigger markets, the stardom really goes away.
Yeah.
Because you're suddenly in the same, we're all just going from job to job to job. And if we're not, we're trying to go from job to job to job. So we're only as good as our last job. And if you haven't worked in a month or a year or 2 months or 3 months or 3 years or 5 years, like that weighs in on you. And then you start to wonder, like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I trying to do this? The industry has rejected me or the industry doesn't want me. So I always say, get while the getting's good. If your heart is in it, keep doing it. Don't stop. Don't give up. I feel like the industry rewards people that are constantly pursuing it.
Totally.
And just don't give up.
I promise to still do a music video. It's been a minute, but I think that would be a good contrast, especially now that MTV's dead. And it'd be better than just doing a short that I throw away or doing a festival PSA that not everyone gets to see. So
yeah,
and
totally.
It seems like you're being realistic about it because I see so many other people being so snarky. Like a bunch of these famous people have just come out with like some video on demand movies, like easy to go. They might be very reasonable slashers or action revenge movies, but you just don't know because everyone's so judgmental about the covers. And it's like, well, you got to keep working. You got to keep staying relevant, even if it's not a Lifetime
You do.
movie, even if
And
it's
look at film. Film isn't what it used to be anymore. And now you have A-listers like Billy Bob Thornton, Demi Moore, Nicole Kidman, Reese Witherspoon.
People have said
Zoe
I would
Saldana.
never do TV.
Never do TV. Zoe Saldana is like the highest grossing actor of all time.
Yeah.
Didn't she just top off Scarlett Johansson? I mean, I will give it that. You haven't seen Scarlett Johansson do a TV series, right? Or like an episodic,
let alone 4 Avatar movies. So there you go, because that's the other thing too, even if you're just part of an ensemble, it's like, hey, if I'm
totally. But I mean, like, I think if you have someone like a Nicole Kidman and Billy Bob and Zoe and like all of these A-list film actors are now doing streaming shows and episodics and stuff, you've got to be able to see where the industry is going. They all know, and that's why they're doing it.
Well,
they know that they're not holding out for the next film because they know it's probably not going to happen. And if it does happen, it could flop and not be successful. I mean,
correct.
For God's sake, look at Sydney Sweeney. I mean,
Powell, they keep trying to make him a star and he keeps being rejected. So you don't know. It's not even political. It's like, well, give it time. Like Mickey Rourke wasn't a hit overnight. Then he burned out and became impossible to work with. So, I mean, you've been fortunate enough to work with people who you both admire and you're like, I do want to have a drink with you because you are a good storyteller, blah, blah, blah. You're just a sweet person, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, I'm going back to your deal on just being real. I mean, my sister and I were real distressed seeing the news how Matthew Lillard was having a blunt statement saying, oh, Hollywood's hiring me back, but not because they think I'm good. I'm not against him being real, but I was like, oh, don't give your haters like Tarantino more ammunition. Is like, people want to work with you because you've never been a problem, Mr. Lillard, and
totally
you're right for this project. Now, if you don't feel like you were picked because you're talent, that might be slightly true, but don't give ammunition for the clickbait articles. It's just like you've been on a innumerable amount of cartoons, movies, and TV shows.
And that's also, got to play a part. Like Matthew Lillard has been working as an actor since he was young.
Never heard anything of someone wanting to punch him or being rude to a waiter. Been unrecognizable, so that's a talent, And
it sucks though that even someone like him who's shown up, done the job, done it well, been pleasant, still goes through that spell and then has to come up with like, why am I defending myself? I'm just doing what I'm doing.
Why do I have an agent?
Totally. Totally. That's unfortunate for him. But yeah, no, he's a talent for sure.
Well, and I'm sure sometimes in all these homages and all these parodies movies, even movies that are just throwback sequels where they're getting you back for a surprise cameo, is like, we didn't do any casting on that. We literally just had you show up, unannounced. It was no different than all these productions that film under a different alias to prevent paparazzi, giving away
Hmm.
the location. I'm cool with people calling a spade, and at the same time, it's like, I appreciate the bluntness, but overall, you will be valued. That you would have to have literally run someone over, or just said something so despicable for someone to be like, I hope we never hire you unless the direct to video market, wants you.
Yeah.
It's kind of maddening to have to even. You kind of get this with politics where everyone feels the need to defend someone. It's like, no, no, no. Let everyone speak for themselves here. And at the same
Yeah.
time, don't let them talk shit about themselves because they're too close to something that they're mistaking the bad filming experience for, or not getting their full money back for the movie being bad. It's like, let them have that
Totally.
coming
Yeah.
to Jesus
That's
moment.
not on anyone else but the situation,
I mean, Denzel Washington or Ed Harris could probably easily go up to someone and be like, I know what my worst performance is. But they also
Yeah.
are wise to know I am a brand. I would be doing everyone, including myself, a disservice if I told you what I was bad in.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is so cool to see those who have navigated this and been both real and had the charismatic business side. And then there's others where it's like, okay, I think we've seen other people reinvent themselves too much. Like Jennifer Lopez and The Rock kind of do this every 3 years, and it's like, stop. You never talk that way. You need
I
to
thought you were
stop
going to say
talking.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Maybe a bit of that. You see
Yeah.
some of it with even Scientologists like Tom Cruise, but you've been fortunate
Yeah.
enough to kind of just work with a lot of just straight up just people who have always navigated through career highs and lows.
I really have. Yeah.
And I mean, I can remember plenty of the 2000s where no one was talking about Kevin Costner or Demi Moore, and I was like, "What the fuck happened?"
Yeah.
They didn't just stop being stars, but they needed time to calm down.
Totally.
Kevin was tired
And
of doing flop after flop, and Demi needed to literally embrace her personal side and just get away from the Hollywood scene for a bit. So it's like, yeah, just let people
it's
be people.
interesting to see that too. And it's also like those are people that we used to love to watch, like in
I
our
couldn't go
generation,
anywhere without some re-release,
anywhere, and even now, I mean, poor Anne Hathaway, like I know that
Yeah,
she kind of had a moment of overexposure after Les Mis,
too much.
and and it's like, whose fault is that though? Like, is it the media? Is
I
it
wouldn't
press?
blame anyone on that. It just kind of happened. But
It
that's a
just
good point.
happens.
I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't expect Russell Crowe to make some little scene action and horror movies, but he's
Russell
making
Crowe.
us
Could we
like
talk about how he did two like
exorcism movies.
exorcism movie?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally
Right? It
different,
was like the
but
Pope's exorcism. What was the other one? And I was
it
like,
was just called The Exorcism, but it was like a meta movie, but you're like marketing much. Yeah.
I
It's
know. And
just
then I'm like, who's paying for these? Like somebody is buying. Somebody
yeah.
is like with money, just like, I want to see Russell Crowe in another priest uniform. Let's write another script.
Yeah. It's so weird, kind of like I mean, web series used to be a thing, and now we've embraced streaming. I think everybody's kind of saying a lot of the same stuff, and then they're doing different types of the formula before they can get good at it. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
video on demand was kind of a joke in '07 when it started, and then everyone's like, nope, now it's second nature. You can see this movie the same day you see it play for 2 weeks in theaters. It's
Yeah. People don't even go to the movies anymore. I mean, me and my partner, we have our AMC stubs, like, and that's
just
we
about
love
everything goes for there, and you're like,
movies.
yeah.
But you would be shocked. I mean, or maybe you wouldn't. Like every time we go to the movies, like unless it's an opening night of something, like it's almost always 50% occupied or less.
Yes.
Crazy.
It's just like what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I like you say, I don't know whose fault it is other than you can just say, hey, they experimented. On to the next one, It could have been
On to the
worse.
next one.
Could have been worse. They could have done a bad job on something they were just so not serious about, and so as a result, everyone paid the price. No one saw anything. It's,
Yeah.
I think people are slowly getting better at not talking smack about something. I do applaud directors who keep like the Madam Web gal. She's like, hey, I'm an established TV director. I'm gonna just say it straight up for risk of career suicide. Studio messed with my movie. That is not my
Yeah.
movie. I was like, I'm glad you owned that. You beat the tabloids to that, so it's got to be authentic. You're just like, ain't my
Yeah.
movie. You're gonna see. They've taken me out, and I'm going back to TV, and that's fine by me because they messed with me.
Yeah. And you're seeing a bunch of weird things on that front now because you have the
Yes.
whole lawsuit and just like people suing each other now and trying to get
Uh,
control of films and stuff and then like if
Redonkulous.
something is a flop, I mean even poor, what was her name, she directed Eternals and then
Oh yeah,
she win
Chloe
for Ham,
Zhao. Yeah.
Chloe Zhao, and then but then she like she's kind of like this golden gal director, but then she had that was considered a flop somehow by Marvel, but or at least amongst fans, I don't know. But
Yeah.
then you have that she tried to do the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot recently, and they did a pilot, and like Hulu scrapped it all, and they were just like, nah, it's not it. But then she wins the Oscar. I mean, there's just so many ebbs and flows of this industry that it's like, what is what anymore? Like, almost no one is an absolute unless you're like an executive at a major studio now. It's kind of strange to me. It's
No, that
crazy.
I'm glad you mentioned that because it's like there's so many powerful women in Hollywood, especially women of color. Like we got Sandra Rhimes, she's always
Yeah.
going to be working. We got Courtney A. Kemp as part of the Power franchise and handed it off to other people she trusts. But then we have people who are brilliant, but who are described by cast and crew as toxic to work for, like Misha Green of Lovecraft Country. So you're just like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you get some of that, but like you say, you get all these other hits and misses, and it's like that it's a lot as a lot of the same kind of just politics and
Yeah.
award show egos, and it even goes back to the whole you got to ask. It's kind of was what we were doing with Me Too. Is like, okay, if I've asked more than 5 people, and this isn't people who are already difficult or already full of themselves, then something's wrong. We got to address the
Yeah.
elephant in the room. Then it's kind of also been like when people get accused of being difficult, is like, were the actor or actress asking too many questions and pissing everyone off, or were they doing a good job and the other insecure people just started talking shit? You don't know. You
Yeah.
really don't know until.
Yeah. Totally.
I think the other hard part is just when nothing's perfect, but or something's halfway successful. Like we kind of had this where we want people of color to talk about colored stories. Now we're having other people accuse each other of whether or not you have to be gay in order to play a gay person on screen.
Listen, if
Yeah,
we, if
yeah,
any straight person, if any true heterosexual person really wants to play a gay character with all the physicality involved,
yeah.
my good for you. You know what? Good for you for being
That's
so
acting.
secure. It's acting. You're getting into a character. You're exploring a new part of yourself, all for the sake of understanding another person's perspective.
Yeah,
I think that's great. But I also get, especially with Hollywood's like long history of having so many leading men in the closet and then we not finding out until they're dead or, later on. That
uh huh.
does at a point when homosexuality was such an oppressed like thing,
Right.
it is painful for those people to be like, why couldn't I have had representation? So I do get the sake of writing gay
Totally.
stories with gay actors, there's representation. But I mean, if we're just going to go there and talk about that, I don't know if you've seen Heated Rivalry at all.
My sister has. She was, and it was so funny. That's a perfect example of something where everyone's half and half on. Some are like, it's good. Others are like, I feel like it's just softcore porn. And others were like, hey, I'm gay, but I didn't really get much out of it other than the whole shocking content. So that's
See,
another example of
and I would
something.
equate it
Yeah.
to, people are watching Sex in the City or True Blood. That's
Perfect
basically like
example.
soft core porn, right?
Game of
But everybody was like,
Thrones.
oh, it's
Yeah.
hot. Oh, whatever. Like,
Right.
oh, I can't wait to tune in every weekend. And and I'll give you an interesting perspective on that. When I was watching Heated Rivalry, it actually triggered a lot of things in me that I became so uncomfortable watching that show as a gay man who should have been like, oh, this is hot. This is nice to see. Look at these two good looking gay guys like going at it, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, I had the opposite reaction, and I felt so uncomfortable because I realized it was probably one of my first times outside of Brokeback Mountain that I had seen a love story like that wasn't a softcore porn, or it wasn't meant to be pornographic.
Erotic or anything.
You know what I mean? It was like, and I think that's what made me uncomfortable because I was like, no, we're not supposed to have real life like love narratives like this. That's not for us. We get the porn, we get the gratuitous crazy shit that's like out of grips with reality because it's not real. And so
Right.
that was like a real mind fuck for me to really process and be like, I am worthy of watching a story and finding representation in it. I should be more comfortable with watching that. It made me so uncomfortable to watch. And I
Totally.
was just, and that sucks because it was a beautiful love story. And I think by the time the series had ended, I'd done my processing and I was like, I loved the characters for who they were. I got over all the gratuitous sex stuff and I felt more comfortable in my own skin. But I mean, I'm sure that I'm not the only person that felt that way.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of stuff where you're just like, it's just not for this audience. Like, I know podcasters who don't care for only murders in the building. Whoa, those podcasters, true crime guys aren't like that. I'm like, I like true crime. I'm about to start my own thing, but to
Yeah.
each their own. Why is it that now we're doing the whole only a minority can do another minority's film?
Yeah.
Unless you're Spielberg, then you get just slapped on the wrist and nice try. So I think, yeah, I think there's just that goes back to the whole root of this problem. Is like, don't even start this conversation if you can't even come up with a solution. Kind of like politics. I got to be louder, but not come up with a better idea than you.
Yeah.
So,
and it's funny. It's funny too. I have a project that I'm working on coming up, but like, part of it entails like producing more content, putting more content out there for a personal brand, and then for that new brand that I'm creating. And so, but one of the things that I was like, what do I want to say? Like, if somebody just says,
yes,
do a reel in 10 seconds, what are you going to say? And the first thing I thought today was like, I would say I love all my white friends. I love all of my white friends who are straight and white and
white AF.
who are allies, because it is my straight white friends whose voice is unfortunately louder than ours, that if they stick up for me, if they're an ally to me, that is the most valuable thing. I know it sounds crazy, like it's important for me to stick up for myself, but if they're doing it on behalf of whatever the oppressed is, then it's like that's true allyship, and honestly,
That's
like
really
I really
cool.
I feel like in Pride Month we should have like a straight ally day, because it's a lifeline to everybody who's different, only because it's just so do you know what I mean? And it's
No,
like
I totally know what you mean. Because like you get all these other idiots who, well, they might not be the radicals or the enemy. They're just crazy about the name, or they get stressed out or everything, or you get the I don't want to be political about anything crowd. And so on, unfortunately, they are enabling the other opposition. Kind of like the idiots who make fun of BLM, even though
yeah,
there is some valid criticism. Just rename the fucking thing already, because people are just getting all stuck on a name.
yeah,
It's like when it should just be black. Black power wouldn't be the right thing, but just black equality. Something where it's just like I'm letting you know that, yeah, I'm tired of law enforcement shoving your faces and curb stopping. Yeah, that's not cool. That's been
yeah,
going on for centuries, and it needs to stop. Instead of, oh, we coincidentally don't have a camera. So I mean, you're at a good deal where it's like, yeah, how to Demi Lovato was getting under heat because she was changing her pronouns, and then after a while I was like, guys, can you just stop the news media for just one goddamn minute and let her just find her inner truth while you guys
yeah.
find your truth, instead of how many times are we going to rename the LGBTQ? Oh, I want it to just be called LGBT. It's like, well, we got to include everybody, so it's got to be renamed. It's like,
Yeah,
and so that's the politicization of the already not trying to be politicized. So it's just like,
totally. But I'm like, I want my white friends to have a little love day too. I'm like, but only the allies though. I was telling my partner, I was like, no haters, just allies. The
I'm
haters,
glad
they
that
can
we
go
can
fuck
even
themselves.
say, hey, I got a partner. That used to be, ooh, everyone wanted the whole intrigue or putting a taboo on something that shouldn't be taboo. It's like, yes, so and so
Oh
has a
my God.
boyfriend or girlfriend.
You know what is crazy though is that now I meet so many, they're mostly actors. I don't know if this has anything to do with it. I meet so
I
many people, they're always like my partner. And I'm thinking, like, we call partner,
ooh, yeah.
and then it's like the opposite gender, and I'm like, wait a sec, the opposite sex, and I'm like, your partner, what? She's a what? She's your wife, like, or
Yeah,
she, and they're like, oh, well, we're
spouse.
not married, or we're like, we've been together for 10 years. She's my partner, but we haven't got married. And
Gotcha.
I'm like, okay, that's fine,
I
but now it's
mean,
starting to throw me off. I'm like, your partner, and then I'm like,
it's
oh,
kind of selective though too. I've seen some people be picked out for that. Like the media kind of politicized, oh, why have Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon not been married? And then they finally broke up after like 30 plus years. But then you see other people who are just cool enough. It's like the powers that be tell the media, hey, buzz off, don't leave them alone. And no one ever brought
yeah,
up, hey, Jimmy Smits and his partner, Wanda D. Jesus, been together for years, still together.
yeah,
Never got buzzed in a question. I'm sure his agent made sure, do not ask me about my love life. I'm not going to
yeah,
give you an answer. So, and then
yeah.
they tried doing it for other people for a while too, like Viggo Mortensen or Keanu Reeves, even Charlize Theron, and it just got to where it's like, you're just not giving us any answers, so I guess we'll buzz off. But we're still going to ask George Clooney and Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, all those people. Who you dating? Who you
Totally.
dating? Who you sleeping with in your
Tabloids.
trailer? It's like
I
just
know.
stuff no one needs printed on a damn magazine billboard. And
Totally.
I'm sure even the magazines are trying to find different ways to be shocking without being as exploitive as they were post 95. I don't know.
I
It's
don't even know anymore. I mean, like now everything is online. It's all AI bots commenting on stuff, and
yes.
that's the
It's
crazy
just
part, man.
like
The bots.
I got one
Crazy.
today on my thing, and I'm like, this guy is based in Dubai. I already know this is just meant some hacker made to pay. And it's kind of like the spam calls where you look at the area code and it's like, yeah, that's a Morocco number. So
Yeah.
this guy is not claiming to be in New York City. This is not actually from New York City. He's trying to steal my data. And but who am I more mad at? The cell phone companies that do this daily versus the other hackers who are just surviving. It's like,
Oh
yeah,
my God.
it's kind of like which bastard do I want to go take down first? It's kind of like they're
Yeah,
all part of the cesspool, but where do I drain the swamp first? So I don't, yeah.
exactly.
Especially when we got other enablers who are doing the whole I'm taking it down, but no, really, I'm keeping it active, keeping it
Oh my God.
guarded.
We are living in a bizarre time.
Well, and kudos to anyone who can have a normal interview on a talk show. It seemed like that for a while. I think it was so funny. It's like Jimmy Fallon was interviewing Kiefer Sutherland on a recently, and Kiefer just kind of stopped him dead in his track. You haven't seen this show, have you, Jimmy? Because you would know this had you seen this. And I think other people are just having to realize is like they got to pull a Jimmy Kimmel or Conan where they don't lie, but they do give a disclaimer. It's like, from the clips I've seen, you seem very joyous. From what other
Hmm.
people have told me, because I don't make time to watch movies, you seem very extravagant. It's like, just say that. Then they'll
Yeah.
buzz off because they're like, yeah, you you don't watch many movies or you don't have time.
Never thought about that. Like, yeah, like what does an interviewee do when they're just like, you have
You
no
were
idea what the fuck you're asking me?
you were simple to research, but I didn't want to ask you puny, generic, schlocky questions either. So I was like, yeah,
You did
I
a,
know.
yeah, no,
Why
it's
would I
good.
want to ask any makeup performer? And I, I, I've been so lucky to know at least five other working guys, and they all of them kind of lived and where they wanted to, moved around state to state, and did what they wanted to do when they wanted to. So I do think it's a little more freeing, kind of like a other visual effects animators or even advertisers or real estate.
Yeah,
Is like you kind of just when you want it, you want it. When you are burnt out on it, you can just hang it up and collect your savings.
totally. Totally. And God bless the visual effects people from Disney that just got Marvel.
It was so despicable to read. I'm like, that's not
horrible.
just 5, that's not just 20, 1,000.
1,000. And I think Evangeline Lilly I almost did a movie with her, but she said it so well when she was like, these artists fed the machine and now they just got done away with. And even when they've been trying to unionize for years.
Yes.
And I felt like they keep, the studios kept like pushing it off and delaying it and pushing it off, knowing good and goddamn well this is where they were going.
I think you just unlocked something. So the cover story is really, we're doing this as a time-saving thing, but really it's to not honor this agreement that we fought so hard during the strikes on. And video game companies, unfortunately, are still trying to get away with some AI stuff and not pay animators or voice actors. So we're seeing kind of a regurgitation of, we didn't learn anything from this. Instead, we kept seeing people who are like, oh, damn it, not another strike. I'm like, well, they have no other choice until you don't treat it like a slavery shop. But and that's a good point on Evangeline Lilly. Most people are going to go, oh, anti-vaxxer. I'm like, well, I can agree with that point, even though I don't agree with the politics on that. So at least other people are looking out for people who've been there since 2010. And it is kind of ridiculous. It's like all this money is going to these overpaid stars. It's almost as bad as the stunt people are getting paid the same amount to get burnt alive.
Yeah.
And it's like, they don't even have a speaking role. If this goes wrong, it's going to be either forced retirement or just long time recouping in the hospital. It's even worse, I think, than like in movie advertising, how we all have to have a VPN in order to find censored search results that aren't, paid for promotion by Walmart or Amazon. It's kind of intoxicatingly bad at times. Just like, same thing with news sources. And it's like, most people are going to just read the headline and not the actual article body. It's like, well, you can tell if it's a good story or not. And I've even had other people come back at me, you don't know a damn thing about AI. I'm like, well, I believe this because it's by people who are generally trusted, like Deadline or Hollywood Reporter. This isn't a woe is me. It's kind of like when you are told when you're judging a restaurant, is like, I'm not talking about the taste. Anyone can do that. We're talking about the texture and care put into this. I'm sure you do this with people you want on your makeup crew. Is like, I don't want to kiss ass. I want someone who actually can estimate how much latex costuming and
literally said that the other day too. I was like, I was talking to a friend and giving her advice, and she was like, well, how do you go about booking people? And I said, I book the people that are reliable, show up on time, zero drama, get the job done, know my expectations. Like, that's that. And like when you work this long with people, you kind of start to feel out your teams, you feel out, what works best for the team. And so sometimes like there was one person that was always gifting me stuff. And but I felt like the gifts got heavier when that person was not like doing their job. And so it was kind of like, it's a defensive reaction of like, here's this, here's that.
I'll buy you dinner. Like, I don't want you to buy me dinner. I want you to have your head in the game.
I want you to have your head in the game and show up and do your job and then go home and be great, and then it started getting weird to the point where I'm like, I feel weird accepting gifts from people when we're on a show because like, maybe save it for wrap or at the beginning of the show, but like during the run of a show, it's just like, at this point, it just feels like you're trying to bribe me or pay for my favor. But then I get, I get shit talked about me when I'm not calling that person as much and I'm calling other people because that person's a little bit disruptive or, distraction to the team. And it's just not like operating at a high, it's a weird thing, it's just.
And how to call it out without looking like an asshole. That's what I hate, is just having to find these guys. It's like, I appreciate what you're doing. And I'm not going to tell you to do better, but I am telling you just, it's like, we can be friends in so many other ways.
Yeah.
You take me out to lunch. It's like,
and
great.
it really had to be like, that's weird too, because I guess when I was like a date, like when I wasn't as important, put it that way, when I wasn't as
When you were number
recog
6 on the call sheet,
yeah,
makeup
when I was like
desires.
number
Yeah.
12 or 13 or 15 on the call sheet, um, it's just weird how it changes when you do, climb up, you get up on the higher call list, you're called for higher, more important positions and roles and
Mhm.
stuff. That like even people that I've known for a while, like years, have started treating me differently in a way that is very flattering, and I don't know how to
Kinda.
take it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I still see myself as that student who started. Like I don't see myself as a mentor. I don't see myself as a pillar in the community. I don't, I've been doing this for over 23 years, 24 maybe, and I don't see myself as that person. I still see myself as like the student, the young, the youngster. And so it's kind of funny when people are like, Ray, you're my mentor. And I'm like, what? It's like,
Yeah.
what? Mentor me? Like, no, you can find better. There's better out there. There's better mentors. And then but I feel like I'm finally making peace with that I do have something to offer. And thank you for asking me to be on this podcast, because it's
Likewise.
reminding me that I have amassed a lot of experiences that I think are valuable for upcoming artists that I can share that information with.
Well, I think a lot of people are just not very receptive, unfortunately. And I'm not trying to throw other people under the bus, but it's kind of like, I mean, hell, when we did this podcast, we were just like, hey, we want to talk about stuff that we just haven't been able to find any blog or pod show or YouTuber talk about. So it was kind of like that was the end. And then we just kind of went in other stages. And then it was just like, and now that COVID's over, this is filling the void in our lives on days where we're not working. So let's try this. It's like, but
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, unfortunately, and this is what I'm so grateful how there are so many mental health mentors out there, even podcasts about it, and they all get to the root of the problem. On the root of all jealousy, all bullying often comes from one's own insecurities, and unfortunately that festers when you don't treat it and you
Yeah.
don't find a predicament for that. So that's why we, again, unfortunately have to remind ourselves is like, okay, so and so, they were an asshole when they started, and they, for the ones who corrected it after a year, maybe 5, that's why they have a better reputation versus the ones who are
Yeah.
still known for that brilliant talent. I mean, it's been so wild looking at other, uh, like having to remind others who want to just
Yeah.
look one way or the other on stuff like this. Like, yeah, Hitchcock was brilliant, but a monster to work for.
It was a monster.
Frank
Yeah.
Capra
And
was toxic, and yet he made all these heartfelt, emotional movies everyone is proud of. So it's like, yeah, Lovecraft is a terrible person, but
yeah.
is a at least he can't make any money off his work,
Yeah.
before the copyright took effect.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. And what is that saying that people will always remember how you make them feel?
yes,
It's like totally,
that's all we have to work on here. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
if nothing else, what then? I mean,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, if someone has to be not famous, that's still better than being infamous, or
I
you're the
like that.
guy who injures people on sets while making these popular blockbusters. It's kind of like how the studios have finally put their hand down and said, okay, Michael Mann and James Cameron, we'll compromise with you. We won't mess with your vision because you know what you're doing, but enough with the 16-hour work days. That can't happen anymore.
Yeah.
And
I'm
if
happy
you
to see that
are,
being cracked down more and more in the industry too.
totally, is
Yeah.
like you're gonna get heat exhaustion, you're gonna get people fainting on set, you're gonna get someone who's just gonna be a crybaby and shut everybody else down because they're just like, I don't know how to conceive of this. And
Yeah.
if you're gonna do that, you should pull a Robert Rodriguez and just bring 5 of your techs who are willing to do that and do it for your pickup shots and what have you, not to hold everyone hostage until they
Yeah.
finally protest with the assistant producer saying, what the hell is this? Not what I signed up for.
Yeah. 1,000%.
I'm glad that we're no longer, unfortunately, it still exists with Marvel, and that's a fortress, but we're done with a lot of what people like Eddie Murphy or even Jim Carrey were getting for a while, where once they did a movie, they were kind of forced to do a sequel, and they had to basically either do a payout or convince their agent, I'll do a different movie for you, but it's not going to be a sequel. I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. I have a no sequels clause for a reason, because I know I'm smarter than the average bear. I know they're generally just not good. I don't want to share that embarrassment. I want to do something else for it. And then you see other people who you would love this one documentary, and I'll let you go. Vanderpump Rules, the Randall scandal. And for anyone who doesn't know, that was Randall Emmett was the guy who was exploiting Bruce Willis and getting all these other former A-listers like Stallone, Mel Gibson, Morgan Freeman, De Niro. Was like, hey, you want to be paid, $5 million for just 2 days work? He was doing all these cheap B movies.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, still on Hulu, but yeah, the Randall scandal.
Totally watch it. I'm kind of I know some of those people from those shows, so
You've done
that'll be
reality
fun
TV,
to watch.
but yeah,
I know it's a small world.
It was a good kind of. It at least goes into just the ins and outs. It's like this guy could have been liked, but despite doing all these big movies and smaller B movies, he unfortunately just wasn't a good person, and it showed millions of dollars later. But I think it was also very telling, is like with the Bruce deal, is like we thought, oh, okay, he's been known to be difficult all his life. It was like, no, this is a cry for help now, because when you're having to have your lines fed to you and you can't remember where you are, that's exploitive, and that needs to be called out. So I think a lot of people don't know. It's like we gotta do something more than just come up with good safe words, and I still don't know the solution to that, other than say, can someone come up with some solution on recognizing signs of fear or mistreatment when someone? It's kind of like when figuring out if you have a neighbor who's being abused, but you don't have any physical evidence that they've been slapped in the face, but there's still something off about their delayed responses.
Yeah, that's such a good analogy. And, I've worked on my fair share of sets where that has gone on, unfortunately, but
I'm sorry.
Or, well, not to that extent, but just certain
Something
talent having to be fed their dialogue, or like, the teleprompters and stuff. And I always feel for them, because you never know what somebody's dealing with, right? So like where their cognitive decline is coming, or is it their eyesight that's declining? Like, really don't know. But it is like it's interesting to be in that environment, because you're just like, it does make you wonder. You're like, the salaciousness of it all, and you're just like, ooh, why? It's just a curious mind, right? But really, at the end of the day, we never really know. So
that's the other shitty thing too, is then it feeds rumors where people go, see, they're not that great an actor. I did have to do that on Queen of the South. I saw some guys who thought they were hot shit. I'm like, if Alicia Braga has to get out, I'm like, guys, the stunt person coordinator needs to deal with that car and reset it. It doesn't make sense for her to concentrate on that. She has to get out and walk in slow motion while delivering this, cheeky one-liner that's part of the style of the show. So it's like, I have seen people talk shit about Gerard Butler and Sandra Bullock on film sets. It's like, well, here's the thing. They're doubling. They already got back from a 6-hour staff meeting and resetting a few other things. And
I can't tell you how many times I love seeing stunt doubles be used. I love it
too.
Because I work on so many things where people do their own stunts. And so like we will get the stunt doubles wigged up, dressed up, facial hair or tattoos. Like we do the works on them. I mean, almost sometimes more than the original talent, to get them to look like the principal talent. And then they'll sit around all day sweating their ass off in a heavy costume and a wig and whatever. And then they don't ever end up doing the stunt. So I personally, I love it when the stunt people get used and utilized,
Totally. I love it when they're also the fitness coach or roommate of the
Seen
actor.
That too.
So then they
seen
can
that
joke.
too.
Then they can joke, hey, at least I get to also be beautified.
Totally.
Hey, it's been a delight having you on here, man. A long time coming. We were having all kinds of different interviews slated for this month.
Likewise, it is cool. Are you still in North Texas, by the way?
I am. I was also a Grand Prairie native, so you
Okay.
put me anytime.
Well, then you might be interested to know that my partner and I are opening a little business in
Whoa,
Fort Worth,
do tell.
and it might be up your alley.
This is the
It
plug.
might be up some of your audience.
Sure.
We're opening a comic book shop
Oh,
called
hell
Back to the
yeah.
Superheroes and the graphic novels. We're opening a comic book shop in Fort Worth. It's called Odyssey Comics.
Odyssey
Um,
Comics. Okay.
we're hoping we'll be off of Vickery in Montgomery. I'll shoot you the address
Already
once
got the website. Hey.
we've got our sign up site there. Yeah, odysseycomicshop.com, I believe, is our website. But yeah, follow us on the gram, Odyssey Comic Shop.
Sure.
We're hoping to be open by sometime in July. We signed our lease last week, and so we have to do the whole process and the build out and the inspections and the permits and everything. But we're feeling pretty good, especially since I've worked a lot in different all of this. You'd be surprised at like how a lot of crew members from LA working on these shows have not picked up their comics from the shop that he used to manage in North Hollywood. So they're like, I'm like, hey, just buy from us when we open. It'll be great. So it's a symbiotic relationship.
Oh, I liked how you just straight up went to the nitty and gritty. Anyone else would have just sexified that. They would have been like, and we're offering this. It's like, no. You didn't even go into sales pitch mode. You're just like, oh, what we offer is like, we got this, we got this. So I think this is it. You get into just again, you like honoring that, hey, I'm about to make you a mean lean stew. I'm about to make you a wonderful burger. And
Yeah,
but I got this and this to make sure that's perfection. So it's like you are all about the details instead of
totally.
how about I go focus on the escapism portion of this.
No, really what it is we just want a third space. Like
Right?
we need more in the world of AI and the world of video games and the world of like connectivity or lack thereof. I feel like more and more spaces like that are needed. And I really saw an opportunity, having worked in Fort Worth a lot in the last several years, there wasn't a huge safe space for marginalized people, and
No,
that's just like, and I don't
unfortunately
even want
not.
to say marginalized, just everybody, I want us to be for everyone. In fact, God bless my partner. He wanted to name it Comic Cafe, where comics are for everyone. And I thought that was just the sweetest thing. And I was like, well, we could still have, comics are for everyone
Right?
in our branding, but truly, and I'm not even a huge like I like some comics, but I like watching movies. I like cinema. So I would rather watch my Avengers than read it. Um,
That's
but
what's
that's just
fascinating to tell people too, is like there is somehow to get away into that, even if you're not, it's not the first format you go to. Kind of like how Pixar's an outlet for even people who don't like cartoons. Like there's a way to get through this. It's just
there
we haven't
is,
said
yeah.
the right word yet.
Yeah. And like I mean, if AI starts to take over what Marvel starts kicking out, I mean, there's a very real chance that the audience could just pendulum swing in the other direction and
That
be
could
like,
be
you
it
know
too.
what? I want hand-drawn comics. So I'm just gonna go back and like, who knows where it's gonna go. But
Right?
all I know is that there was a moment there where everything became so visual and like a cinematic kind of way.
Hmm.
Now I feel like it's swinging back, but I think what really matters now, because anybody can order a comic or a book online, right? They don't have to step a foot out of their house. Um, and I think that's where we're rooted in is that we volunteer with a lot of charities in Fort Worth, and we've really just gotten in good with the crews here. That the crews like want to see familiar places and things, and maybe like things that kind of remind them of LA a little bit, because we'll have that LA vibe, but also not pretentious at all, and has like the heart that Fort Worth has. So we're really excited, and we don't know where that adventure is going to take us, but we do know it will be an odyssey. So I'm happy about that.
It's some kind of odyssey. I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's also an adventure you want to go on versus
totally.
just
Plus, my dog is going to be our mascot, which is his name is Homer.
Homer.
So he was the one that inspired the name for the comic book shop, because originally we were contemplating doing coffee. So we thought Odyssey Coffee or Homer's Coffee or Homer's Odyssey. And we were just like, wait a second, why don't we just call our comic book shop that?
Mhm.
'Cause it's fitting, you know? So everything feels like it's happening. I mean, even down to working so much in Fort Worth, and like, I love LA, I love Washington, I love Colorado, New Orleans. I've lived and worked from East Coast to West, Florida, Key West. I was out there for a while. There's something very special about North Texas and Fort Worth that is really charming, you know? There's a lot of potential here. So we hope to do good by the community.
Uh, that's eloquently said, but that's also that's that's careful. That's thinking, it's you're pre-planning the planning. So again,
Yeah.
you're all about just it's like before I even put pen to paper is like, what kind of pen do I want to use? You want to know every part of the detail.
I mean, I am a Capricorn. That's just that goes with the zodiac side, I
There
think.
you go. Yeah, that works. I've had to.
What's your
even
side? What's your side?
I'm a Gemini, but I've even had to explain some of that to other people. Is like, I see people who get distracted by the name. Is like, here's the thing. It's more than just uh, what month you were born in, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's having to
The
do also
time,
just
the
the kind of
day. Yeah.
personas. That's why these are shared. That's why that has that label. Well, I don't want to be labeled. Well, we're not labeling you. That's the other thing too. It's like I'm
It's
just
like an
associating.
archetype, you know, it's a mathematical archetype, and at the end of the day, you can reject it or you can accept it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like it's it's all said with love. There's no ill intent. It is not. It's kind of like when you're talking about a learning disability. Is like if I have to say something other than disability to make it us know that we're trying to make your environment better, I'll do it. But just
Yeah.
just so you know, the word itself is not meant with any ill meaning either. So it's
Yeah.
whatever I
I
got
like
to
the way
use
you
to work.
think, Cam. You've got a good lens on you. You've got a good and you're a very good interviewer, by the way, which
Oh,
is
thank
great.
you.
You've made this very easy.
It's only been after
Um,
hearing millions of other bad interviews where I was seeing the celebs get bored, and it's like, yeah, just listen to that question. It doesn't really, it's a regurgitation of the last five questions. Just, there's plenty of times
very
where I just wing it, but I also, listening is rule number one, just like comedy and improv. It's like, you must listen, just,
yeah.
and don't go, and it's kind of like, how many times have you been at a meeting and there's always that one jerk in the corner going, uh-huh, uh-huh. It's like, you want to stop that person instantly because nervous habit or not. It's like, okay, what did I just say? Oh, it's like, let's stop that now.
They're
Let's,
probably ADHD. They're like
I mean,
shiny object.
even if you're autistic, there's no need. Just, and at the same time, for those who get easily annoyed, if you want to save yourself annoyance, get ready to state the same thing five different ways until they get it. Because you're going to get even more annoyed if you repeat it the exact same way that confused someone the first time. It's like, be prepared to say it differently, use a different word.
And you should totally go into acting if you can do it 5 ways, different
Oh,
ways.
there you go.
That's the audition process, right? Now say it again, like especially if you're in commercials. Oh my gosh.
Say it with delight. Say it with
Yes.
angst. Say it with spite.
I love that. Well,
Well,
this has been a
I'm glad
blast.
you're where you want to be, and you're also still challenging yourself. You're finding some other side avenues. You're finding ways to keep life fresh instead of let life determine your next steps. So it's like, yeah, you're not waiting around. So that is neat because
I just love that you said that, because today I was like, am I doing this because I'm scared of another strike?
I
And that could
mean
be it.
they
But
can't
it's
afford it.
can't
So
afford it. I mean,
yeah,
listen, if I've got to, like if I got to do delivery service, or because I mean, I'm telling you that strike was like, especially following the pandemic a couple of years later, that
yeah.
was rough. And I mean, I'm
Even
telling you, like, that's what really kind of scarred me. Maybe it was when I started hearing talks of like there was a new negotiations going up with the WGA and then SAG. I
oh
was like,
dear.
in the fall of last year, I was like, shit, I should start a side hustle.
I'm having to do a side hustle even with my 9 to 5 job. There's plenty of slow months
Yeah.
or moments where you look at your invoices and go, ooh, I'm in my, unacceptable area. What do I do
Yeah.
to
And isn't it
uh,
great that we can just be honest about that? Because again, and I don't, not to make this too long, but the other day,
oh,
I
this
was
is
kind of
perfect.
mentoring a peer in our industry and having to explain sometimes you got to be resilient and you have to be really flexible and you have to say, no, I'm not a failure. This has nothing to do with me. It is what it is. And then I also kind of live my life to the mantra of what's for me is for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really gotten me through slow times and
Yes.
also allowed me to not be resentful of both the situation and my peers,
Right.
or especially if I see less qualified people getting jobs that
Yes.
I may have felt entitled to or maybe didn't get.
Don't
Hasn't
put
happened
a
often in my career, but it
don't put
has
a
happened.
don't put a face to the problem. Look at more of the enablers or other hidden figures who
Totally. And just
signed that.
say what's for me universally is for me, and nothing can take that from me. So if I was meant to have that job, it will be my job.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm working for it and I'm meant to have it, it'll be my job. And if it's not, like, that's okay. That's cool. And I can
I'm
support
glad
the
you
other people
said
that got
that.
it.
I'm glad you just pointed that out because I get really sick of others saying, "Oh, so I should have to suffer," and it's not at all what we're saying. We're just saying we all have our time, and then when we've soaked in the sun enough, we just move on
Yeah,
to something else. Well, I
that
don't want
part.
to change. Well, I hate to break it to you, you're going to have to change something. You're going to have to learn a new skill set. It kind of goes back to the
Right.
whole just because you graduated college doesn't mean you stop learning. And I'm sure we've all met our share of people who are just like, well, I learned it a long time ago. I'm like, well, you should still be looking at a book or a
Totally.
blogger.
I had to learn how to do special effects makeup, and I was always interested in it, but I was always kind of intimidated by it.
Yeah.
But then there was a moment where I was just like, if I don't learn this skill set, I'm not gonna keep working as much as I want to. And I can't
Yes.
tell you how many, after I did that, I started getting hired into key positions because my department head needed someone who could do both beauty and effects. So it was just like, and then if we needed like really extensive effect stuff, where, then we hire somebody that is like trained to handle that. Because I don't do all effects, I do like the minimal
Right.
gore, cuts, bruises, aging, the simple stuff. I don't do monsters. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. So, that's when you pull in the people. You just recognize the skill set and you hire the people that can get the job done, period.
Mm-hmm.
You should never try to be somebody that does it all and takes it all and then, but only does it all like half-assed and you maybe do one thing well.
Right.
Like,
I'm not
don't take
feeling it,
another job
man.
from another qualified person.
Especially if you don't want to do it. No one is forcing you to do this job you don't want to do either.
Totally. Yeah, for sure.
And I'm glad that you're finding your limit. There's so many times when I went to film school and I would see others just complain about stuff. And like, you got to snap out of that. Well, if it's not the way I want it, I don't want to release it. I'm like, well, you got to talk to the professional side of you when you do that. There's going to be something you're going to have to let go, even though you would do it differently, because then you'll never get anything done if you're that
Yeah.
nitpicky. And I would see people who are like, I want it to look and sound like Christopher Nolan or Michael Bay. It's like, well, here's the thing. A, that's not going to happen when you're $5 million, maybe 10,
Yeah.
and you're asking your parents to feed everybody. Is like, you got to be so rational. You got to be realistic.
Yeah.
You got to not be reductive. And unfortunately, I'm seeing that even with movie reviewers. They want to be the next red letter media. Is like, okay, if you want to be snarky, that's fine, but don't come looking to me like you're a victim when people are sending you hate mail and death threats for being a moron on social media.
Wow.
It's like, don't.
Yeah.
It, I mean, we do comedy roasts, but we also have to remind everyone, it's like we're doing it like old Dean Martin style, where it's very, you know, uh, uh poke nudge nudge is like
Yeah.
it's not supposed to be I destroy your character. I've even had to do that with other reviewers. It's like, remember, we're on here to give a pros and cons, not to destroy one's character. This is
Yeah.
not uh, you can say I think you should pick a different day job instead of I hope you jump off a cliff. I'm like, whoa. So I think everybody has just along with the lack of empathy, there's just a lot of insensitivity, and unfortunately, it can still be done by the so-called good old Christian boy next door, as well as just
Oh
the
yeah.
teacher who's supposed to be setting a good example, but is caught behind the scenes saying, can't stand these kids. It's like, okay, well, at that point, you gotta know whether you want to
I
be
mean,
in the profession.
at this point, we're literally watching people have like completely
Meltdowns.
different lives online.
Yes.
Like catfishing, making fake profiles just to troll. Like and these are like
Ricky
older people,
Gervais is
These are
blocking
like,
people who give him hate mail. Is like, okay,
yeah,
what are you
it's
doing?
kind of. I mean, that's an old that's a whole topic on its own. It's wild,
Right?
Yeah,
You just gotta wonder sometimes, and at the same time, it's like I don't need to wonder. I need to not give the negative people attention.
absolutely. Yeah, just ignore 'em. Thank him for the engagement. You're like, I'm good.
Right? I'm glad
Yeah,
we could engage without uh, getting worn down by a few things, And
yeah.
I can't tell you how many podcasts need to work on their interviews.
This has been a blast.
1,000%. And glad we could just kind of unload just like what's on people's minds instead of just uh, argue or uh, talk about only the sexy side of the business. It was like, yeah, no, there's all kind in between fun. There's plenty of other stuff that's not so fun. And how do you navigate the unfun to get to the fun again?
Yeah, and I like those conversations just because, like I was saying before, like a lot of my peers in the industry, we've all had hour, 2, 3 hour long conversations of just like commiserating with each other, um,
Hmm.
through their highs or my highs or their lows and my lows. And, it's just important to do that because there is, like you said, there's like a very glitzy, glammy version of the industry, and everybody who's not in it probably will never get it. So it is nice when you can have those real conversations, and then maybe, ears that might need to hear this topic and this conversation will find it. I think that's great.
Totally. Nothing worse than when it's like, hey, in between that moment where we were all having fun, we had plenty of moments where we just wanted to just say, "Oh, to hell with it already."
Yeah, totally.
Fame and fortune can't buy everything.
No, no, neither can accomplishments or awards.
Yeah, I can hide behind the trophy, but it's not gonna make it better. So,
Yeah.
well, very cool, my dude, and glad that again you're always looking forward to a challenge, and you're challenging yourself. So it's like, yeah, it's not gonna get old for you anytime
Yeah.
soon. It's like, yeah,
No, not at all.
and it's
I
not gonna
think we
feel
got
like
this.
and it's not gonna feel like just another hustle. It's like, no, it's just another thing I do.
Yeah, it's just a job. One that I love. I've been grateful for.
Glad to promote another hardworking fella in the workplace, and I just hope that everyone just treats you with respect still.
Thank you. Yes, and I appreciate you, and thank you for taking the time to reach out and set this up and have me as a guest. Would love to come back and shoot the shit about the industry anytime you want.
You know it. You
All right,
absolutely know
cool.
it.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up